until I was about 4, we lived in a house in the mountains of northern New Jersey. Behind the house was a deep forest Father and I had made out of scraps of lumber. I can tell you about the yard, which was full of quicksand into which you might sink, even with boots on. The front garden was full of cherry tomatoes, thousands on each vine, and stinky skunk cabbage swinging through the tree trunks that led down to a little creek. I followed it downstream. I remembered I used to play in the creek over the forest, past the field with big brown cows. I remembered my mother's long blonde hair falling against the black flakes. I remembered my father and my dog, and apparently I remembered sliding down the sky in the backyard. I remembered the snow on my 4th birthday. My uncle told me it was flakes. They were all called flakes. I could see the hidden pattern. Mine seem especially fantastic and kind of untrustworthy, like the reconstruction of a dream. One day, and I remember packing up the car and leaving, driving up in the mountains of northern New Jersey, and got lost. The police found me peeing and hiding under a bridge. Other than this peeing, I remembered stabbing a knife through my thumb, cutting potatoes, and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I suppose everyone's thoughts about early memories like these seem like the reconstruction of a dream. At this point, I'm just repeating a story I've heard told about myself.
My mother, her name was Cynthia. She told me that it was easy to give birth to me, but sometimes I am told that she didn't want to give birth in a natural way. When I was born, I cried so hard I sounded like a cat. I'm quite unclear about it. I was not a cat, but I sounded like a cat. I cried so hard that they sent my sister to my grandfather in Cairo. By the age of 1 week, I was not in the real world. My mother and I taking naps. I just fall asleep. When she came so back, my parents aren't too clear about. They would let me go to sleep. We would fall asleep. We would fall. I'm quite unclear. What I know of is that at a certain point, I remember being in a large field in search of some pumpkins. And here's a rabbit and cat took me by my hand. I had already made a best friend. I think it was the pumpkin festival. We would chase a cookie and milk, and I ran as fast as a rabbit and fall so hard on the ground. It worried my parents to death. We fall so hard, but we didn't cry. We would only laugh. Laughing was easy. We would laugh a lot. The reason to that is that I was not in the real world. We would fall and we would laugh. We would fall and we would laugh. My mother found a hose and sprinkled me. We were at a Catholic hospital on blue beds. I didn't cry anymore, so they all got concerned that I couldn't hear. I didn't run anymore, so they all got concerned that I couldn't move. I remember throwing up. It worried my parents to death. At the hospital, the doctor would ring a bell several times to see if I would react to it. I said,
I can't hear anything.
The doctor took me by my hand and we would laugh and laugh and laugh. And the doctor said,
here's a date.
It was a delicious date. So my parents realized that I did move after all. Now there's something that happened after that my parents aren't too clear about. My parents decided to leave France and see what's happening in California. I've been told that we went to Austria, but sometimes I am told that only my mother went to Austria. There are a few things I remember from California. My sister and I were living with my grandfather in Cairo, while my father was still working in California. And off we went to Menlo Park. Anyway, what I know of is that at a certain point, we all moved back to Cairo and my parents sent us to a German school. This story changes so many times. I am quite unclear about it.